Alright, in this video we'll focus on update statements. So we've already done the insert statement and the select statement. An update is a little bit different. It'll look a little bit like a select statement where we had a condition where we wrote the keyword where. But we have to write different keywords. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of the issues where there are empty sets inside my database. And I'll do that by doing an update statement. So let's update Brian here. Brian needs a last name. He needs a program, a web skills, and a student number. So I'm going to write update, and we're going to update the students table. And what we're going to do is we're going to set last name to equal Jones, comma, program to be equal to computer science. And what else does Brian need here? He needs some web skills, and web skills to be equal to CSS/HTML. And now we need a where. Well, student numbers are unique, but look at this. I have two student numbers right here from Amy Steele. They're identical, and I have the same with Joe Kidney. Uh-oh, guess what? We're going to have to use something even more unique, and that's our primary key, our ID. I wouldn't want to update this to say where first name equals Brian. I wouldn't want to do where last name equals empty, because then all the records that have Brian would be updated. I wouldn't want to update where web skills is empty, because then all my web skills would be updated. So you have to update where there's a uniqueness, and that's what our primary key is for. So I'm going to write where ID equals 17. So let's click go. And we wrote our update statement, and one row was affected. This is how fast the query took. Here's my SQL statement, and now when I go look at Brian, right here we have his values all set. And it looks like his student number is incorrect. It can't be a 0. So I'm going to go ahead and write a new student number for Brian. So I will go ahead and click Browse on this back tab so everything's updated. And I'm going to update my table students, and I'm going to set my student number to be equal to, let's give him something fake here. And I do have it as a string, but it should go in as an integer. And we'll do, again, where the ID is equal to 17. So let's go ahead and hit go on that. And everything looks like it worked fine. I'll click Browse. And now Brian has 2323, which is great. So this was our student number 2323, and now we have that where statement. So let's update all these web skills people with basic stuff so they have something in there. Now in this case I'm going to need to update multiple records, right? So now let's go ahead and write update students set web skills to equal simply HTML, where web skills is equal to empty. So I made an empty string here. Let's click go, and we've affected 7 rows, and now we're cleaning up our database quite a bit. So our last guy is Dave Smith, and he doesn't know his year in school, so let's go ahead and give him that. So I'm going to update students, and we're going to set year in school to be equal to, and we'll call it freshman since he doesn't have data. And again, we have to do where ID is equal to Dave, which is 6. So use the ID every chance you get, because that will be uniqueness. Also, please keep in mind that you would need, I'm going to export this table because I want the data. So I'm going to click SQL, and we'll have this as a value. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want you to understand what happens if you write an SQL statement without a where statement. What happens is you can do update students set first name to be equal to Chris. And because I do not have a last name or a where or anything like that, watch what happens. I can go ahead and click go. And now when I click go like this, I get all Chris's. So that was clearly a mistake that affected my data. Fortunately for me, I have my data backed up. It's inside this SQL section. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And we'll clean up our data real quick. I'm going to go write an SQL statement that says drop table students. And that should remove all my students. So now when I click database, you don't see students here, you don't see it here, and we don't have that. So I can go ahead and click SQL and rebuild my table real quick. This works very well for smaller tables. When we get larger tables, we'll have to deal with that, and I will teach you. But right now, we have database, we have students, we can click browse, and all our data is complete here. So that is the update statement, the drop table statement, and how to back up your data. So what we did was write a bunch of queries on updating.